Kamala is doubling down on the wokeism in the here and now, especially on Columbus Day. Indigenous peoples. Oh gosh, don't say Columbus Day, not there in the White House. It's Indigenous peoples, because we have to be ashamed, forever ashamed of something that happened hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. It's our fault. Your fault. Wow. Okay, Kamala gets out there and makes a big speech and basically tells every white man that she's trying to recruit, you know, all those votes in Pennsylvania, the Teamsters, for example, that are overwhelmingly voting and siding with Trump. She's trying to tell them, once again, they're the problem. It's those white Europeans. It reminds me, when I used to hear Hugo Chavez speak, I was trying to get an interview with him in Venezuela, and I spent 2 weeks on the ground there, and they'd be like, mañana, mañana, mañana. So I go and I listen to these speeches in Spanish, which I speak, and he would always go back to the same exact stuff. It was that white European colonization, and we're gonna fight back against. This is what she's saying. I'm like, who is this? Kamala Harris or Hugo Chavez reincarnated?
It is an honor, of course, to be with you this week as we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, as we speak truth about our nation's history. Since 1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas. But that is not the whole story. That has never been the whole story. Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations, perpetrating violence, stealing land, and spreading disease. We must not shy away from this shameful past, and we must shed light on it and do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today.
Oh, okay. Do you feel bad enough yet? I mean, she talks about moving forward, turning the page forward, and then she serves that up on Columbus Day. I'm just going to say one thing, okay? You know, Columbus was no saint. Columbus came over here, and by the way, he screwed up because he promised the Queen of Spain that he was going to discover India, and, you know, he didn't. So he had to go back with something. He didn't have all the silk and all the riches he anticipated there, the commodities of the day. And so he had to, you know, he was scrambling. He's like, well, what else have we got? Oh, there's people. We can use those people. He was like in this sort of CYA move, trying to cover himself with his investors back. So, and then he brought the people back, and, you know, thus, by the way, let's be very clear, like the slave trade had been going on already for a very long time. It was actually those white Europeans that ended it out of the UK. And then, you know, thank goodness America eventually came along with the Civil War. But I'm just saying, like, this was going on. And so Columbus came here. If he hadn't, what would have happened to America? Really? I mean, we're going to sit here and say, we feel so bad, we feel so bad, we feel so bad. I mean, is this sort of us looking at it through today's lens as opposed to the lens of back then, when there were certain things that actually were common? And let's not forget, the people that were here didn't respond so well to anybody else coming in. And so consequently, there was violence coming from that community as well. And it was war, okay? It was war. And think of the things that America has done during war. So to get all uppity about something that happened in 1492, like, and try and say that everybody else is going to pay the price somehow now, I think it's a little wrong and politically not savvy. Kamala, you're the one who's down in Pennsylvania, not me, okay? You got to figure out Pennsylvania, girl. You could have gone with Shapiro. You could have gone with the guy that everybody liked. Oh, but he was Jewish. And that wasn't going to fly, I guess, with the likes of the squad. I mean, why else didn't you pick him? One of the reasons floated was because he was just too manly and would kind of take too much oxygen out of the room compared to Kamala Harris, who apparently can't handle it, right? She's going to be center stage and the star at all times. And so she went with little Timmy because he was less intimidating. And she may just lose as a result. So you know what? Her loss, our win. But this is the kind of stuff that she's going to continue. And I would just say, hey, Kamala, if you're really about moving forward, as you tell us over and over again you are, then can we leave all the baggage from the late 1400s behind? Can we actually move on as a society and recognize the worth of every individual for the reasons that Martin Luther King Jr. cited? Like, we should not be looking at the color of their skin. We should not be seeing the world through that lens. We should be giving everybody equal opportunity. Can't guarantee the outcome, but we should be doing our best to give them equal opportunity. But in your world, no, because you're going to go back to, in the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, your ancestors would have had access to this and somebody else's wouldn't have. So therefore, we're going to level the playing field after the fact. It is not right. It is not fair. It is not American.